Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today with some super exciting data mines, and as well, potentially what we can be looking forward to in the rest of the year for 2024 in terms of a preview of what teams and synergies, but it's really exciting, guys. First and foremost, I do want to point out that all data mines are subject to change. So although we will see some of these asset files actually being in the Strike Force data files, keep in mind that, they could be in there for quite some time before we obviously see them come. I think Odin was actually in the files a couple months before, and obviously now we have him confirmed as a Dark Dimension 8 reward. So just food for thought. But huge shout out, guys. If you have not checked out, I'm going to link it below as well. Boylon is the first one that actually got wind of this information, so I wanted to make sure I can circulate this as well. Make sure you share these details to your alliance, share them around, because especially at this point in the game, guys, any kind of new content like this is super exciting to see as well, giving us a sneak peek of really what's to come. It's almost kind of the, unfortunately, the 2024 preview that we never got, but, thankfully these data mine files do have some really cool stuff to see. So again, subject to change. Hopefully it's true, but it's all but confirmed at this point. So again, be excited about it, because this is obviously the best part of the game when we see these new characters, teams, and additions coming into the game, as well the content that's going to be coming. So first and foremost, ORCHIS raids. These were identified by Boylon as well in his asset files, but it makes sense. The last time we got new incursion raids or a new variant of a raid for us to start participating in rewards was really May 2023. And then ever since then, they've only been adding additional difficulties, higher levels for the incursion. So it makes sense to spice things up finally with a new raid. The spotlight raids don't really count because they've already confirmed that they're more of a temporary nature to begin with. So once these spotlight raids have ran its course, it's going to switch over to the next spotlight featuring the next feature teams that they want folks to invest in. Basically another way to FOMO folks to build up teams and characters just to partake and get additional Crimson gear and so forth. Whatever's feature, right? Maybe even Purple ISO 8 is going to be a potential reward for spotlight. But regardless, it's interesting because these ORCHIS raids are tied back actually to the Age of X and ultimately the Sentinel team with Nimrod, right? So it's interesting that we're going to be seeing this. Maybe it's going to be a new kind of PvE content for us to partake in until Siege Battle World comes. But regardless, this is in the data files. This is probably going to be the next raid. Now it's more so when it's going to get released for us to be partaking in and obviously challenging ourselves. And also, if you look at the timeline too, right? Every year they do this. So we're now sitting in July 2024, entering August. It's more than overdue. Having said that, this is a perfect segue here into the main potential villain tech team that we might be seeing, which is relating back again to the Age of X theme, right? Makes sense. We see now, as you can see on screen, both Nimrod and the classics fellow Sentinel asset files actually being featured here. This is what they're going to be looking like in terms of the avatar profile in the game. So that's why I'm thinking, guys, this is all but confirmed now. We're already seeing their actual profiles in the game. It means they're coming sooner rather than later. And also, I do want to point out, it's possible that we see these characters only as enemies as well, featured in specifically the ORCHIS raids, and maybe you have to battle up against them. And later on, they get added into the game. But for the time being, we do see Nimrod as well as the fellow Sentinels being featured here. Maybe Nimrod can summon the Sentinels. Who knows, right? Or maybe there's more members that we have yet to identify. But again, this is in the data asset files, which means, again, coming sooner rather than later. Pretty exciting because I'm a big fan of, Days of the Future Past, the theme of this, and it's great to get this throwback. And I love how it is tying back to Age of X, ultimately is Professor Xavier later on. Having said that, because we're getting closer and closer now to September and October, we speculated this for quite some time, but now that we've actually got Odin confirmed actually as the next Dark Dimension reward, we can rule out the fact that the next legendary likely is going to be potentially Dracula. The reason I want to point this out is because in Boylon's asset files too, he's identified 5 different vampire minions that you see here, actually respectively for each of the ISO 8 traits. So, that's the Striker, Fortifier, Skirmisher, Raider, and so forth. So they're going to be doing their own main kind of task, their main type of role for their team. But the fact that they put this much detail into 5 vampire minions seems to indicate that Dracula is going to be a very important character, because I cannot see 5 minions making up a team. So it makes sense that there's going to be a character summoning them. And if you're thinking about vampires and summons, which other iconic character other than Dracula would you be, you know, obviously pointing to in the Marvel lore? So completely makes sense. Could he be the next legendary? That's going to be up for debate. Let me know what you guys think below, but I think that's going to be a strong suspicion here now that he is going to be the next legendary. On top of that, don't forget, guys, remember we had the voting. Don't ever forget all the polls that we did. Typically, they happen 2 to 3 months after as well, and that was Karen Page in her vampire form. We have Man-Thing. We had Moon Knight rework getting confirmed for the votes, and we're possibly getting one more character that would make them the full complete 5-piece team. And we also know that with Mystic Raids, they've been on the way out for quite some time with Bifrost. So could this be signaling the start of the Mystic Raid team in preparation for the new ORCHIS raids? That is for sure something that's a strong contending topic here. But yeah, again, I love what they've done with the skins though, because each and every one of these characters are pretty cool, pretty unique in their own way. So I do think they're going to be formidable in their own respect. It's just more so how prominent will they be when they are summoned, or are they going to be summoned, or are they going to be standalone characters? That remains to be seen. But even this one right here at the very end, actually kind of even looks like Dracula. So very, very interesting, guys. Let me know what you think. But yeah, this is super exciting times, and it's great that we actually have access to these asset files too. And then finally, icing on the cake, guys, other teasers that we're taking a look at here, and it was the main one that was identified being Null. We have pointed this out in my past videos as well, because there's been tons and tons of, you know, campaign narrative pointing to the fact that Null is actually coming, but now we actually see, once again, similar to all these other teasers, the actual profile asset being added into the Datamines, which means, again, could he be a boss that we have to contend with in the future? Very possible. Also remember, Gore, part of the new Annihilators team coming, he was given the he was given and provided the symbiote trait. Could there be some sort of synergy in the future there, and they're just trying to prepare beforehand? That remains to be seen for sure. And then I always like to leave Blade here, because it seems like with the vampire theme that we have going on, and everything with the potential vampires being added in, we're still not ruling out Blade in the future because of the fact of how he's prominently relating back to that. So just food for thought, guys. But yeah, tons and tons of exciting content. Don't forget about Odin. Don't forget about Purple ISO 8, as well as Siege Battle World. But for those of you that were feeling dry and that there wasn't a lot of content coming out, well, there you have it. Now, this is kind of the preview that we never got, but I'm glad we were able to, you know, deep dive, again, thanks to Boilon, into these data files, getting a sense of what these assets are looking like, and especially with new raids coming around the corner. I'll keep you guys up to date, though. Exciting times for sure. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you're a fan or not. I know it's a lot of information coming, but at the same time, too, we've been overdue for a sizable update, and I think this is kind of the answer to that prayer. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for your time, as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.